Hey guys, want to show your support to the channel and get some awesome rewards at the same time? Then go check out my Patreon page where at whatever tier you choose that fits your budget, you'll get plenty of rewards such as updates and announcements on the regular, exclusive sneak peeks of my videos before they go up online, get yourself credited, and receive a special shout out at the end of my videos and more. Go to patreon.com/AckleyAttack44227TV to start pledging today. And don't forget to also check out and consider gifting me any items I have listed on my Amazon wishlist and even supporting me on my Streamlabs tipping page that'll also help support the channel directly. Links are in the description box below as well as on my link tree for you to check out. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Take care. Hey guys, like what we do on our channel and want to see more videos from us? Then not to worry about a thing. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that way you can see more of our videos coming up very soon. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Hey guys, this is AckleyAttack4427 here with a brand new video for all of you guys, and well, I guess if anything, I guess we all saw it coming, to be honest, and truth be told, I really didn't want to make this video for sure. Trust me, I really don't. I was trying my best to stay out of course, pretty much on what's been going on with it very recently, and I'm trying to avoid it so that way I won't get into a massive drama for sure. But after giving it much thought, and after a couple of attempts where, of course, I did try to make this video, but couldn't do it for the sake of it, I figured now would be a good time for me to finally make this video for sure, because I've got a lot to say on, of course, this one in its entirety. So yeah, if you may not recall, well over a month ago, pretty much a well-known Thomas YouTuber by the name of Carty, who originally goes by the name of Unknown Thomas Fan 1, and of course is pretty much serve as the director of course, the small little independent documentary An Unlikely Fandom, to which I did talk about in one of my videos in the past, so I'll be really excited to finally check that one out. Has, of course, pretty much decided to slam pretty much a controversial, and yes, I am saying controversial, very specifically for sure. Yeah, pretty much a controversial member in the Thomas community on YouTube that goes by the name of SodorProductions, because pretty much the latter actually used pretty much part of Carty's interview video on the late Brit Allcroft, God rest her soul, pretty much using it as rage bait in, of course, his videos for sure, and how. So yeah, all of that actually happened well over a month ago for sure, and I kind of figure that I would actually talk about this. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why am I talking about this now? Why am I talking about this even though it actually happened a month ago for sure? Well, trust me, I did originally intended to actually talk about this subject matter last month, but I couldn't actually do it because, well, I was afraid that if SodorProductions actually did watch this video, he would pretty much file a takedown notification, pretty much all because I criticized him for what he's doing, or pretty much I would get bombarded with, of course, his pretty much his fans who actually support him, or both for that matter. And plus, I already did have other videos that I wanted to work on anyway, so I think I pretty much laid low on, of course, all the rant until the right time will actually come up for sure. And, of course, after giving it much thought, I figured now would be a good time for me to finally talk about this for sure, and how. Yeah, I guess pretty much, if anything, pretty much, first off, in regards to SodorProductions, hands down, honestly, I think if you were to look up the name by far, you would definitely know that he is actually getting a lot of popularity for all the wrong reasons for sure. And there's tons upon tons of rant videos by far against the guy for sure for what he's doing. So to quickly sum up, of course, on why he's actually regarded as the most hated Thomas user on YouTube for sure. And yes, I am saying most hated because he deserves that reputation for sure. Which is ironic because he actually confusing in saying that he is in fact the most loved member of the Thomas YouTube community. To which I think he should have actually used that in quotes. Yeah, I think he should have used most loved that he said in quotes by far. Yeah, everything, pretty much, everyone is actually making videos against the guy is actually, pretty much the same thing over and over, which is pretty much what he always does, and of course all of his videos. Pretty much, if anything, he is basically racist, sexist, ableist, and not to mention he's pretty much homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, pretty much every is and phobic thing that you can actually sum up about the guy for sure. Yeah, and others pretty much others saying that he pretty much to pretty much if anything he actually supports pretty much Donald Trump by far with of course what he's doing, to which again is all for the wrong reasons from what I can gather. And not to mention he pretty much yeah, and like I said earlier, he actually issued a copyright strike against one person who actually criticized him for sure, to which, yeah, I guess it does show that, yes, by the way, he cannot take criticism at all for sure. And even if you actually disagree with, of course, his opinions by far, yeah, I think he would pretty much laugh it all off and call us people who disagree with him absolute idiots for sure. To which, that is definitely a coward's way out for sure. And not to mention, during one time on Discord, he actually, to pretty much best describe by him being a racist, he actually did use the N-word in, of course, his Discord server by far. So yeah, I think it's what I can say pretty much everything about this guy in a nutshell for sure. I can go on and on, of course, pretty much all the things that are wrong with, of course, this guy for sure. But again, there are several rant videos against the guy that really did get their point across for sure. So I recommend you check those out instead, just to actually see what everyone's talking about. I mean, I couldn't do it because, well, it would take up most of the video for sure, but that's pretty much my short sum up of course, Sodor Productions in a nutshell for sure, and pretty much getting everything across on what's actually wrong with the guy for sure. And if that doesn't sound bad enough, his fans are psychotic. I'm not kidding when I actually say the second that actually pretty much any of his fans actually see one slight criticism against Sodor Productions, pretty much in any way, shape, or form, they would go nuts and actually harass pretty much Sodor Productions Hatedom by far for sure, saying, oh, you have no idea what you're talking about. Sodor Productions is pretty much is always gonna be reigning supreme by far, and you're just pretty much a lonely peasant by far. And yeah, pretty much everything, pretty much every one of his fans actually said about the guy pretty much sums it up from there. And it gets much worse when you really dive into it for sure, so yeah, everything that everyone has said about Sodor Productions in a nutshell is actually true for sure. This guy, with of course what he's doing by far, he's not only a menace to the Thomas community or the internet in general, he is in fact a menace to society for sure. He pretty much is the equivalent of course, all those people who absolutely know what they're talking about and they're right about their opinion, and they will go every way that they can to actually prove on what they're actually talking about for sure, just to make the people who silence him shut up for sure. And again, that is not only a good example of course, not taking criticism whatsoever, but given to his behavior and attitude in a nutshell, pretty much if anything, he is relying pretty much more on arrogance more than his talent for sure. And as you may know, pretty much people who actually rely on being arrogant all the way, I can't stand those people by far for sure. So yeah. That's pretty much what I could say, of course, on that front. Sodor Productions, he's relying more on arrogance rather than showcasing any talent or creativity for sure. But yeah, again, I could go on and on about Sodor Productions in a nutshell, but those are, of course, what I can say on that front for sure. And again, I highly encourage you check out the Rant videos about this guy and what he's doing and why he deserves to be called out for his behavior for sure. And now you might be saying to yourself, what does that have to do with Carty, you may ask? Well, surprisingly enough, pretty much of anything, one time he actually pretty much, Sodor Productions actually did post a video regarding, of course, what he does as normal, and he actually used a pretty much a screenshot of course, Carty's interview with the late Britt Allcroft for the thumbnail, and of course, his video for sure. Now, just to make it perfectly clear, before going into this video, looking over his channel, I did watch a good chunk of videos by Farah, of course, the guy, and why he's actually acting this way, and why he's that arrogant for sure. And I guess if anything, to the people who actually criticize him through not just a video on YouTube, but also on social media as well, I can definitely see why for sure. But again, I won't go into it for the majority of the video by far, but that's pretty much what I could say on that front. But surprisingly enough, Carty actually took note on what Sodor Productions did, and he did originally take down Sodor Productions videos twice, actually giving him about 2 strikes on his channel, almost coming close to losing his channel directly for sure, to which around that time, pretty much afterwards, Carty actually took to a Twitter where he actually did state, and I quote, "I believe in fair use, but not if it's rage bait and made with bad intent." So yeah, that's pretty much what Carty said on Twitter after he submitted pretty much a copyright takedown notice against Sodor Productions for sure, and well, surprisingly enough, from what I can gather, I think Carty actually made the right call in actually taking Sodor Productions' video down originally for sure. Now, I did say originally from what I can gather because, well, Sodor Productions actually did retaliate against that strike by far, and well, looking over on, of course, his channel for sure, if I can actually look over it, yeah, there it is. So yeah, he actually did pretty much got the strike removing his video back online for sure. So, which, yeah, that sucked from what I can gather, but again, I think with what Carty did, filing a copyright takedown notice against Sodor Productions, I think he made the right calling, of course, that front for sure. Now, I guess he might make the argument that pretty much Sodor Productions' videos falls under fair use by far. But let me make one thing perfectly clear. Now, just to be fair, of course, on my front, plenty of other YouTubers have actually relied on fair use when making their videos, let alone their reviews on their channel. Hell, I relied on fair use, of course, the majority of my videos on my channel for sure, and yeah. But the reason why we actually did that is that we want to make it fun and creative and actually make it with good intent, showing love and support all the way for sure. Even if we did criticize anything in particular that is particularly awful, we can actually pinpoint some areas for sure to make that argument in its entirety. So yeah. But for the sake of SodorProductions, his videos by far, they're beyond, I think they're nowhere near close to being classified as fair use for sure. And again, going back a bit to Carty's statement on Twitter, pretty much saying that pretty much SodorProductions is not allowed to use his content if it's rage bait and made with bad intent. And that's pretty much what SodorProductions videos are in a nutshell. They are rage bait and they're made with bad intent. So yeah, that's pretty much what I could say on that front. So I guess with the sake of SodorProductions arguments against what Carty is saying, what am I supposed to say to all that? That actually does show that pretty much if anything, you're clearly calling out one person who is calling you out for your behavior for sure. And on top of all that, you don't even have a clue on how fair use actually works. And I did say that because, well, going back a bit to one part that he actually did that made him so controversial is that he actually took down a video pretty much from one user who was criticizing against him. Yeah, the user who actually, who you took that video down from him for sure, he did rely on fair use for sure. Something that you actually don't know about, SodorProductions. But yeah, that could pretty much get my point across of him not taking any criticism whatsoever. Now I know it's saying a whole lot, given to, of course, pretty much on what he's actually done for sure. But trust me when I say I do have every reason to actually call him out on that, amongst plenty of others for sure. And what's interesting about that is that before Carty actually made that statement on Twitter, he actually did post this tweet beforehand, saying that if you're going to use Britt Allcroft's interview for your content, use it for something cool. And yeah, honestly, I do agree with what Carty has actually said for sure. Like I know, pretty much, for example, if I wanted to make my video for sure, and I want to rely on, of course, Carty's interview on Britt Allcroft that he actually did for an unlikely fandom for sure. Of course I would actually use it for something cool, hands down. Maybe it's like a, pretty much, if anything, maybe it's like something that could really actually help showcase her talent and creativity, almost like a really loving tribute to her, hands down. So yeah, if I were to actually use Carty's interview clip of Britt Allcroft for my videos, of course I would actually make something cool, hands down, for sure. And on top of all that, I would definitely credit Carty for that interview clip that he actually did for sure. That's pretty much what I would do if I use his clip hands down for sure. And I know that's saying a whole lot because I did use, going back a couple years ago when I talked about pretty much the announcement of the premiere of an unlikely fandom that happened not too long ago. I did actually showcase clips and trailers from the documentary for sure to really pinpoint, of course, what I was actually getting across. And I guess in all honesty, for while I am bummed that I never actually got to attend the premiere of an Unlikely Fandom for sure, because even if I did, then that would be awesome, and I would be crying tears of joy, not only finally getting to meet Britt Allcroft, by far, alongside plenty of others for sure who worked on the show, like Rick Sigelcow, for example. But I think it will actually serve as a nice love letter to the Thomas community for sure, and one of the reasons on why we're still here in pretty much in the first place for sure, because that's something the Thomas community is actually well known for, hands down. Sure, we actually make all sorts of content and stuff revolving around Thomas the Tank Engine for sure. But the reason why we do is that no matter what era by far that we can really pretty much get ourselves into, hands down, Thomas the Tank Engine is still part of our childhood by far, and has been a massive staple for plenty of children's programming for sure, right alongside the likes of Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street for sure. They teach us very important life lessons that we can really get behind for sure. Tell some really great stories that we can love and admire. Even some of the ones that we actually thought were terrible for sure. And even have some characters, both old and new, that we could really get to know for sure. And yeah. And despite going in whatever direction it's going in right now, sometimes it's pretty positive, but other times it's pretty negative for sure. But we still know, hands down, that we would show our love for Thomas the Tank Engine as a whole for sure. And I guess it does showcase pretty well with plenty of people in the Thomas community that have been making videos on YouTube, like not just Carty by far, but also the likes of course, Flying Targus, Percy Engine 619, Sidekick Jason, Enterprising Engines, Diesel D199, and even plenty of others as well, like of course Ramafool, DeWilsonaire, who originally goes by the name Miss Oliver and Blossom, and even Thomas William Railway, again, just to name a few. Hell, even some of the ones that can be very divisive in the Thomas community, like Trainboy54, for example. Regardless on how you actually feel about plenty of users by far, and trust me, there's plenty of people in the Thomas community that have come and go over the years, some of which actually have been exposed and have their careers destroyed because of such terrible things they've actually done by far, like of course pretty much as some recent examples, Brendan Ray's 10 and Scarlowy 123 for example, and that's just to name me a few from what I could gather. And let's not forget a few others, like of course pretty much the Blue Puffball and Husker the Wolf for example. Those people that I've actually mentioned, yeah, you can make the argument they've actually done way worse things than any other Thomas YouTuber out there. I dare even say those people that I've actually mentioned, they've actually done terrible things that are way worse than Trainboy54. And I guess pretty much of anything, speaking of which, Trainboy54 is tame compared to those four users that I actually mentioned. I'm just saying that out there, so yeah, and of course, pretty much much like the show and the franchise for sure, since that has actually grown and evolved over the years, we have grown and evolved over the years for sure. Something that we've been taking up on with the franchise as a whole, and that's something we've actually stuck with hands down. While for the sake of SodorProductions, he doesn't actually grow and evolve for sure. In fact, pretty much of anything, he's never actually changed by far as a human being for sure, and he wants to keep what he's doing exactly the same for sure. And trust me, there's nothing wrong with, of course, keeping everything the same for sure. But if you make it your gimmick and something that you stick with for years and years, it's gonna get pretty much irritating pretty fast, and we're all gonna get sick and tired of it, and we want to bring in something new and creative to mix things up a bit, hands down. which I know SodorProductions doesn't actually get in the nutshell. And yeah, that's pretty much what I could say on, of course, that front. So I guess, if anything, looking back on, of course, the couple of posts on Twitter that Carty has actually put up by far, like I said, I think he made the right calling, filing a takedown notification against SodorProductions for sure, because if anything, rage bait and bullying is not something to be tolerated, hands down. That is something that deserves to be pretty much deserves to be called out for sure, and to speak up against for sure. So yeah, that's something that we have been doing for years and years, and that's something we're doing now for sure. We want to pretty much fight and resist against the people who actually encourage rage bait and bullying for sure. And to think, why in the ever-loving fuck would SodorProductions actually get away with this kind of crap and think it's actually okay? It's not. It's not okay for sure. And with what he's doing right now, especially with, of course, him posting his videos on his channel daily, I mean, seriously, I do get that there are plenty of users that have actually posted his videos on their channels daily, and fair on you for you guys. There's nothing wrong with it, hands down. Hell, I actually post some videos daily on my channel every once in a while for sure, depending on my busy schedule for sure. But for the sake of SodorProductions actually making content daily, non-stop, without taking a break whatsoever, I mean, seriously, did SodorProductions actually rely on artificial intelligence to actually post his videos on his channel? Because I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did for sure, because, well, most of the videos he actually put up are AI generated for sure, so yeah. So it's either that, or I guess pretty much in terms of his editing software, he actually did rely on Windows Movie Maker for sure when editing his videos. I don't get it either, so that's pretty much what I could say on that, so yeah. I think it's pretty much what I could say on everything in that front, and that's on top of everything else that SodorProductions has actually did. Like, one good example is that in one video that he did, where of course he swung a toy, had pretty much a Nia toy with a baseball bat, making tons of racist comments while doing a face reveal. I mean, seriously, why does he look like one of the Columbine High School shooters with that kind of a face alone? To which, yeah, it is quite surprising, because he actually does look like one of the Columbine High School shooters when you really think about it for sure. But yeah, let me make one thing perfectly clear for sure. Now, I do understand that pretty much when it comes to pretty much what's been going on with Thomas nowadays in terms of characters for sure, I do get the idea that I do understand that Nia is not really a good character for sure. I mean, pretty much concept-wise, she does look like she would provide some great characteristics for sure to really actually pretty much give off some really good traits by far, even some great development for sure to actually make her a likable character that we can love and admire for sure. But I guess if anything, pretty much due to the lack of it, hands out, I can see why a lot of people criticize Nia in the first place, and why she's not really a good character. Now, I guess if anything, if someone would have come along and actually did give Nia some good traits and some good development to make her a likable character, then I think we could actually respect her hands down. Hell, I do know Rob the Fool that I actually mentioned actually did showcase that in one of his old videos that he did in the past, and I think he actually did it pretty well for sure, so yeah. I think it's what I can say, of course, that front, hands down. And like I said, if pretty much of anything, yeah, if the people who actually created Nia actually gave her some great traits and development to make her a likable character, I think we could actually show her a lot of love and respect, hands down. And of course, if anything, there's nothing wrong with, of course, diversity and pretty much inclusivity, pretty much in any sort of media that we all know and love, hands down. If you can get some really great development with, of course, each and every single one of them by far, then I think you might actually be in a really great spot to actually love and admire that, while still showing love and respect for any sort of media that you know and love, hands down. And hell, a lot of movies and shows have actually done that for sure, but they also mix it in with, of course, great characters, a great story, and great writing, hands down. So yeah, I think pretty much, if anything, I really do think diversity and inclusivity is actually welcome by far, as long as, of course, you have the tools you need to actually work around it to actually make it as great, for sure. But if you try to shoehorn that in from what I can gather, then I think you're going to make the product look bad, hands down. Which I guess is pretty much what has happened to Thomas during both the Big World, Big Adventures and the All Engines Go era, for sure. But hey, like I said, I think it could have been a whole lot better if they did actually provide some great tools they need to actually mix things up a bit to include inclusivity and diversity, hands down, to make it likable, for sure. But I guess due to the lack of that, I think it is one of the reasons why the former that I mentioned is, of course, criticized in the first place, for sure. And I guess I know pretty much a lot of us have actually pointed that out, for sure, but over time, we've gotten over it, hands down, we've moved on to other things. But for the sake of SodorProductions, he clearly didn't get the message and is still doing everything in his power to actually try to still get his point across. Yeah, almost like saying, yeah, it's almost like we could be on the verge of saying, yes, we get it, please shut up. But we're almost at that point, pretty much given to what we've actually said, for sure. But yeah, either way, I think it's what I could say regarding all that, hands down. And another thing I should mention which is actually quite fitting, seeing how this is Pride Month, hands down, he does have the tendency to actually insult the LGBTQ plus community by far. Yeah, with one thing that I've actually said, yeah, with one thing that he actually said by far, pretty much saying that the plus, hands down, actually represents fat people, hands down. First of all, ew. Second of all, ew. And third of all, that's pretty much insulting to obese people, hands down, because, yeah, calling a person fat, hands down, yeah, I know it's pretty much not very welcoming in the US version of Thomas back when it first aired, for sure. But I think you're giving people who are obese, hands down, a bad name, and yeah, they would definitely call you out on that. And another thing that I should mention is that if you actually pretty much search on Google about what the plus in LGBTQ plus stands for, it actually stated on Google, and I quote, "The plus represents non-cisgender and non-straight identities that aren't contained in the acronym." And yeah, I guess if anything, that is of course a really good point, hands down, and I think it would give us the idea on what the plus in LGBTQ plus stands for, hands down. And trust me, I've met a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community, and I've shown a lot of love and respect for them, hands down, for sure. So I guess for Sodor Productions, if he would have done his research on that part, he would get a full idea, of course, on what he actually stands for and what we're trying to get across. To which, given to, of course, his videos that he's actually put up, he clearly didn't do that, hands down. And, of course, on top of all that, that's amongst plenty of others from what I can gather. Like, of course, he would pretty much call the people who criticize him not just pretty much not only deflecting their opinions and actually pretty much actually say they're idiots when it comes to their pretty much the people who criticize him in the first place. Well, trust me, it gets much worse from here. I'm not even kidding when I actually say it. He actually calls the people who actually hate the guy nothing but really, really, really terrible vaginas. Yeah, to quote Dana Carvey from Wayne's World.
Ew.
Yeah. That pretty much sums it up right there for sure. Yeah, I mean, again, what am I supposed to say to that, hands down? I mean, yeah, that might be something a pedophile might call someone for sure when trying to call them out from what I can gather. And even I know pedophiles wouldn't actually call people that hands down. That is just disgusting. You are an absolute creep for saying that, Sodor Productions. You are a creep. But yeah, either way, with everything that I've actually said, hands down, that's just to name me a few, hands down, and I haven't even gone over for the fact that he is in fact a hypocrite as well, with, of course, many things that he has actually done and said for sure. Like, of course, for example, when pretty much he actually stated that he hates Mattel, pretty much the company that currently owns Thomas by far. But actually did pretty much praise a good number of products that they actually released. So, what's even the point of the hang? You can't go back and forth. You gotta pick a side, so. And of course, let's not forget to mention, since he utilized Donald Trump and of course a good number of his thumbnails and his videos and everything, he actually claims not to be a Republican, hands down. But he actually does have views and sayings and stuff that would showcase someone being a Republican, hands down. So what's the point in claiming you're not a Republican, even though you're expressing some ways showing that you are a Republican? Would you care to explain that? So yeah, and that's just to name me a few from what I could gather. So for him to actually say that kind of stuff, that is hypocritical when you think about it for sure. And Sodor Productions is indeed a hypocrite by far. So yeah, and let's not forget to mention on top for the fact that because of the auction that's going on for most of the Thomas props that just happened not too long ago, despite the fact that he owns Calling now, he did state that he would actually buy the Emily prop and actually destroy her for sure, to which, yeah, I guess if anything, that would actually waste a lot of hard-working effort from the people who made that prop, hands down. So yeah, you're pretty much destroying pretty much one piece of Thomas history that a lot of people have actually worked hard on for sure. And again, that's just to name me a few from what I can gather. So if that's what you're going to do with Emily, does that mean you're going to do the same thing to Colin, even though he actually appeared in, of course, pretty much in season 12 during the hit entertainment era? One of the eras that you absolutely hate? Are you going to do the same thing? Again, care to answer that question? But yeah, I guess if anything, like I said, it's just to name me a few from what I can gather. So I think with what I've actually said by far, I think it would actually showcase on why, and I mean why, a lot of people would actually hate SodorProductions for who he is, hands down. And trust me, I've seen a few of his videos, and I never will again after viewing them once for sure. But I can see where a lot of people who are criticizing against him are coming from for sure. He clearly shows no respect for the Thomas community. He cannot take criticism whatsoever. And of course, like I said, he's racist, he's sexist, he's homophobic, he's xenophobic, transphobic. And that's just to name me a few from what I can gather. And I think we know, hands down, we cannot have that in the Thomas community. Hell, I'm pretty sure a lot of other members in the Thomas community would actually tell me by far, well, I've seen what SodorProductions has done. I would never do that kind of stuff. And trust me, I can say the same thing on my part. Pretty much, given to, of course, what I've been playing up, I would never do any of that kind of shit that SodorProductions is doing right now for sure. And yeah, I guess with, of course, everything that's been said about this guy, I think he deserves to be called out for his behavior for sure, because we cannot tolerate that, hands down, for sure. And of course, pretty much of anything, I still stand by my word in actually saying that I really cannot show respect for the guy if he's not going to show respect for everyone in the Thomas community or the franchise as a whole. And let's face it, pretty much the companies that SodorProductions have actually made videos about, yeah, that SodorProductions has made about on his channel. Like, of course, Bachman Trains, Mattel, and plenty of others from what I could gather. Well, here's the thing, SodorProductions. They're not going to listen to you whatsoever, because when it comes to the Thomas franchise as a whole, I'm pretty sure they have other ideas that they want to get underway by far that they've always wanted to do for sure. So it's very unlikely that they have actually watched your videos as a whole for sure. And even if you think they did, hands down, you're not showing any proof whatsoever, whether it be a reply from them via email, or of course a statement they've actually posted on of course social media by far. And that's just to name me a few from what I could gather. But yeah, either way, regardless on what you have to say about those companies, SodorProductions, they're not going to listen to you whatsoever, because I'm pretty sure they have other ideas that they want to get underway for sure. And trust me, I've been in that road several times, and I fully get what they're trying to do, hands down. They're trying to do some stuff to help them make money for sure, and there's nothing I can do to actually talk with them, hands down. And that's pretty much what I can say on that front for sure. But yeah, either way, with everyone that have actually been criticizing SodorProductions, hands down, I can see where a lot of them have actually come from, hands down. And yeah, that kind of attitude and behavior that he's actually showcasing right now, we cannot tolerate that, hands down, and I think he deserves to be put in his place by far. And he definitely needs to face the consequences of his actions if he actually does get it for sure. Now, if you may recall, pretty much right around a few months back, hands down, I did the entire response/rant video on Headbanger142, aka Brandon, aka the Hardcore Kid, now known as the Hardcore Dude by far, and I've made my point across on what he's actually done ever since he actually posted his review on Mayboy Koru-kun by far, and I guess either way, I stand by my point, and of course, the video that I did prior to that, where of course, I discuss, of course, the drama that I got myself into during the summer of 2012. And again, what did I do in that video? I admitted that my actions that I did was wrong, and I apologize for them hands down. So yeah, and for the sake of course, branding, aka Headbanger142, I did state, of course, in my response/rant video on the guy and his review that he posted, that I'm hoping that I would get a response from the guy, whether it be he would contact me directly through email or direct messaging, or of course, pretty much him finally watching the video and all that sort of stuff, that hopefully he might say something that will make us be on good terms. Not sure on when exactly that's gonna happen, but we'll have to wait and see when that comes around anytime soon. So yeah, it hasn't popped up very recently from what I can gather, but either way, I guess I do have to accept for the fact that he probably won't respond anytime soon for sure. And plus, in one update video that he actually posted on his channel, he actually did state that pretty much for his well-known series of videos, which was of course his smacked up YouTube failures list, he stated that he would no longer be making them anytime soon for sure, to which I guess it is understandable from what I've actually seen for sure. And trust me, even if he would have kept on going with that set of series of videos, I'm pretty sure SodorProductions will of course be on his list by far for sure, but I digress. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I could say on, of course, that front for sure. So I guess in regards to SodorProductions, from what I could gather, yeah, I think he deserves to be called out for his behavior for sure, because again, we cannot accept that whatsoever, and he deserves to be put in his place, and he needs to face the consequences. And I mean, seriously, how do you think his Hatedom would feel if he kept on going with all that hands out? Or hell, if he actually has a family, how do you think SodorProductions parents would actually feel if they see pretty much his son posting his videos as a whole? I mean, if I was SodorProductions father for sure, and I see him doing that kind of stuff, I would actually do everything in my power to actually strip him of any of all sorts of hardworking effort he has actually done of course his videos, and actually punish him for what he's doing, because again, I cannot tolerate that hands down, and yeah, he definitely needs to face the consequences hands down. And of course, with all the stuff that he's actually done, making pretty much such controversial moves, of course, his channel with of course his the videos that he actually posted. Yeah, pretty much since we know for the fact that he actually monetized his videos hands down, how am I quite surprised that plenty of other YouTubers who have actually done similar stuff like that will of course get demonetized and strip of any income that they would actually get from their videos, but SodorProductions will actually get away with it hands down for sure. And yeah, I think it's pretty much what I could say of course on that front. And let's not forget to mention, in one video that he posted, where of course he stated that he got doxxed hands down for sure, he did actually state that pretty much a police officer who is a big fan of Thomas and actually have kids by far who also love Thomas hands down, to which totally understandable from what I've actually seen, and good for that officer. To be honest, he actually did say that if something like this pops up again, he would actually have to press charges against the people who are actually calling him out for, of course, what he's doing. Now, let me level with you, SodorProductions. You can try and get the police all you want to press charges against us and what we're saying against you, hands down. But at the end of the day, there's nothing the police can actually do about that for sure. Many of your haters who have actually criticized your videos by far are sometimes from other states and overseas, and they have different names and IP addresses, so that's going to be hard for you to actually track down each and every single one of them and actually press charges against you hands down. I mean, hell, I live in a different state that's far away from where you are right now, so yeah, I think it's going to be hard for you to actually press charges on, of course, a person who lives 2,000 miles away from you. So yeah, either way, you can try and get the police all you want to actually pretty much contain the situation all you want for sure. But there's nothing the police can do about it, hands down for sure. And trust me, I know that hands down for sure because yeah. Either way, I guess pretty much of anything, I know hands down that is something the police cannot handle all the way, and we need to bear that reality for sure. So yeah. Either way, I think with what I've actually said, I think that would get you some idea, of course, what I'm actually talking about for sure. And either way, I think with, of course, all of his fans and stuff saying that what SodorProductions is actually telling the truth and you have no idea what you're talking about, well, the people who've actually made rant videos against the guy, calling him out for being such a terrible YouTuber in a nutshell, surprisingly enough, the people who have actually made videos criticizing against SodorProductions, they are telling the truth, but not in the way that SodorProductions wanted, hands down. And I know that's saying a whole lot, but let's really face it, telling the truth is fine, yes, but there's another saying to all of it, and that being, of course, the truth hurts. So yeah, that's pretty much what I could say on that. The truth definitely does hurt. And I mean, let's really face it. I've had people who have actually criticized me for what I'm doing by far. I've made some videos that I'm not proud of. I've made some projects that failed big time. But I don't stand there with the arrogance telling myself that what I'm doing is perfect. There are going to be times where, of course, I'm going to make mistakes. And that's okay. You make mistakes so you can learn from them, hands down. And of course, let's not forget to mention, for SodorProductions to actually go off on the people who disagree with his opinions whatsoever, let me bear one thing in mind to all of you. There's nothing wrong with, of course, people criticizing your opinion, hands down. I've had my fair share of people who actually disagreed with my opinions, hands down, for sure. On top of all that, hands down, let's take for example when I talked about the recent Final Destination movie some time ago for sure. Now I made it clear in, of course, my thoughts video that I did some time ago. Of course, what I have to say about that said movie, and I actually stated by far that it is definitely the best thing, of course, of the Final Destination series for sure, and yeah. And that's on top of everything else that I absolutely love and admire about that said movie. But if someone were to actually come along and actually disagree with me and saying that the new Final Destination movie is the worst one they've actually seen, so what do? Do I retaliate against that said person and say that they have no idea what they're talking about and pretty much Final Destination Bloodlines is still the best one? No, not at all. Pretty much the person that I'm saying for this example, that's just a good example of someone disagreeing with, of course, my opinion for sure. So if that's the case for that one person who disagrees with my opinion on that said movie, then I guess that's telling me they actually have a different perspective and a different view on any sort of media whatsoever, and we gotta take that for what it is, hands down, and I'm fully aware of that from what I can gather, and again, I'm okay with it for sure. Any form of criticism whatsoever is feedback for sure, so yeah, if you actually disagree with, of course, one person who criticized pretty much something that you love, hands down, and actually say that your opinion is right, and you're a terrible person for saying that to my face, you're gonna find yourself in trouble, so yeah. And either way, you can definitely say all you want that you absolutely love Thomas and the Magic Railroad, and say it's the best one for sure. And trust me, that's totally fine. I'm sure it's your opinion, hands down, but for me and everyone else who have actually viewed that same movie, I'm sure we all loved it as kids, but as time went on and we got ourselves older, looking back on that same movie, we do realize that some parts of it are not as good as we remembered, hands down, and we can see why a lot of critics and stuff, a lot of critics have actually panned that same movie when it first came out, and why it flopped at the box office, so yeah. But yeah, either way, we need to be aware of that. So you can try to say Magic Railroad is the best movie in your opinion, all you want, but there's still going to be a lot of people who would actually disagree with you, hands down, and most of the other Thomas movies that came out much later are way better than all of that, hands down. And there is pretty much some good reason for that, like of course Great Discovery, Blue Mountain Mystery, and of course King of the Railway, Tale of the Brave, The Adventure Begins, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, to which you claimed that you absolutely hate, hands down. A lot of us have actually praised those movies by far because, well, pretty much of anything, they've got great stories, great acting, great writing, great characters, and all that sort of stuff that we really do love and admire for sure, so yeah, you can try to slam those films all you want, but that's encouraging us to love them even more for sure, so yeah. Either way, I think it's what I could say, of course, that front, hands down. But yeah, what I'm trying to get across, and of course, all this hands down, is that all of us in the Thomas community actually have every reason to still love Thomas the Tank Engine, no matter in what way, shape, or form, hands down. Because we want to show our love and respect for, of course, the character, hands down, and we do want to see pretty much Thomas grow and evolve as much as we have actually grown and evolved, hands down, for sure. To which, for Sodor Productions, he doesn't showcase any of that whatsoever, for sure. And I guess pretty much of anything, he doesn't have every right to be a part of course, the Thomas community or on the internet in general, for sure. Pretty much of anything, I think he pretty much deserves to stay outside of all that, hands down, so yeah, and like I said, with what Carty has actually done when he originally took down one of his videos, for sure, I think Carty has every right to actually do that, for sure, because I do agree with what Carty has actually said. You cannot use any of his content for rage bait and make it with bad intent, for sure. Which that is something Sodor Productions has actually done, and we're not okay with it, for sure. So I guess for what it is, Carty has put a lot of hard work and effort to make an unlikely fandom what it is right now. And for while I have yet to see the documentary myself, for when I do eventually see it, for sure, I know hands down that Carty really wanted to show love and appreciation for the Thomas community, for sure. And I do applaud him for finally interviewing Britt Allcroft for that said documentary, for sure, and And even after Britt Allcroft's passing for sure, we know that we want to keep pretty much the love and respect for Thomas going and making it stronger and better for sure. That is something that Britt Allcroft wanted us to do, and we're going to make that possible. To which for Sodor Productions, he showcased none of that whatsoever. So yeah, to Sodor Productions, for my final message to you, if you are in fact watching this and you made it through this video all the way, I've made this video. I didn't want to make this video, but I have to do it anyways. You have no right to actually call out Carty for what he's done. He has every right to take down your videos. You need to stop what you're doing. Stop with your videos. Stop showing hate for everyone in the Thomas community. And please get help fast. Because yeah, what you're doing right now, Sodor Productions, we have every right to criticize you and call you out on your behavior. Your arrogance have no presence in the Thomas community, and I guess if anything, to quote Gordon Ramsay, I can't help people that can't help themselves and cannot ever take 1 ounce of criticism. And if you're not willing to change, and if you're going to keep on being an absolute butthead, be absolutely arrogant, and scream in our face and say that you are in fact the most well-known Thomas user for all the wrong reasons, that we're trying to criticize you for what you're doing right now, Sodor Productions, this is not normal. It's not normal for the fans of course, the show that we all know and love. That we all know and love. It's not normal for, of course, pretty much the companies that have actually, they're still retaining the rights for Thomas and still want to do everything to make themselves some money so that way they can keep it going for years to come. And it's not normal for everyone that you actually meet inside the Thomas community and outside. You may have the right to actually try to expose the community all you want and get things going your way, hands down. But I have the right to stand against what you're doing, as well as others, hands down. So we're done. Flag out. We're done here. Take care of yourself. Take a break from what you're doing. Stop posting videos all the way. And please, maybe instead of using the money that you have earned through your videos on YouTube to actually buy some new Thomas merchandise, maybe I think you should use the money instead to get yourself therapy. That is what I can say, of course, that front. And I do hope Sodor Productions will finally take what I'm saying to heart and will actually pretty much showcase what I'm trying to get across so that way he can get the full idea on what I'm talking about. Amongst plenty of others, hands down. And like I said, Carty has every right to actually take down Sodor Productions videos originally. And trust me, if I see Sodor Productions using my videos for his rage-baiting content and of course make it with bad intent, I would definitely do the same thing Carty would do, hands down, because stuff like that is not okay, hands down. And what Sodor Productions is doing is not okay. And either way, that's something we cannot tolerate, hands down, so... But I do know, hands down, for the Thomas community, we do need someone to actually come in and actually pretty much stop pretty much what Sodor Productions is doing and pretty much pretty much help fix the mistakes in the Thomas community so that way it'll be warming, welcoming for plenty of others, hands down. Just like, say, Gordon Ramsay on Kitchen Nightmares, where, of course, he goes to a restaurant to actually, to identify the problems and how he's going to fix it. Which is ironic because SodorProductions actually does work at a restaurant for sure, so I am beginning to wonder on how he would feel if Gordon Ramsay would actually step in into his restaurant that he's working at. But we'll have to wait and see. And let's not forget to mention, for every Donald Trump who's trying to spread hate and despair, pretty much destroying the country, hands down, we need someone like Joe Biden to actually come in and actually stop all this, hands down, and fix the mistakes, hands down, that he's actually made. So if that's something that we actually got from those two examples, I do hope the same thing can be said for the Thomas community and finally put SodorProductions in his place, hands down. So if anything, the stuff that SodorProductions has actually hated actually makes us all want to appreciate them even more. And that's totally fine from what I can gather. There are plenty of people who have actually loved the classic era of Thomas, but hate most of the other eras that came out afterwards. There are some people who actually love the All Engines Go era, but absolutely hate the classic era of Thomas for sure. And that's okay from what I can gather. Many people have different opinions, hands down, and that's something we cannot stop, hands down. It's what makes us human for sure. And yeah, I think it's what I can say, of course, that front, so yeah. But yeah, either way, I highly doubt SodorProductions is actually gonna be doing anything about all this if he does watch this video, because, well, he's gonna keep on doing the exact same shit over and over again without any signs of slowing down for sure. So yeah, to SodorProductions, take what I'm saying to a heart, hands down, for sure, because, well, we're not okay with it, hands down. But if you dare try to do anything against what I'm actually doing, hands down, given for the fact that you have been doxxed, hands down, and trust me, I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of doxing, hands down. I really do think it's illegal, hands down. But if you dare try to do anything against what I'm actually saying to you, hands down, and call me out or do anything horrendous to me in a nutshell, we will have to take legal action against you, hands down. So take what I'm saying to a heart for sure. So yeah, that's my final warning to you. So take what I'm saying to a heart, hands down, because what you're doing right now is not okay, and we cannot tolerate it for sure. So we're done. Flag out. We're done here. And I guess on that thought, yeah, it has been a long one for sure, so I think I'll definitely end this video here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and by all means, what do you think of course, the situation that happened over a month ago, hands down, and of course, do you think Carty made the right call or not on what he did to SodorProductions? Pretty much taking down one of his videos, all because he used Carty's Britt Allcroft interview for rage bait and making with bad intent. Let me know down in the comments on what you think, hands down, for sure. But as long as, of course, his fans don't come in and actually blast me by far, hopefully I should be alright for sure. So yeah, either way, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and don't worry, for the next video that I will put up, I assure you, it won't be like this, hands out. I assure you, for the next video that I will do, it will be more on something positive, hands out. That's my intent when I've actually been posting videos for sure, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna give you guys exactly that. So yeah, but until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/AckleyTackTV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is AckleyTack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with SamTheThomasFan1, SamAttack4427TheThomasFan1 Productions for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyTackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.